Most notable in the luminaries mysterium is what we call the Sun. The Sun is a focal point of life-giving heat and light. Only a fool states they know what it is. The close Sun within our realm makes one full westward revolution every 24 hours, spiralling out and gradually faster to the Tropic of Capricorn on the winter solstice, and spiralling in and gradually slower to the Tropic of Cancer on the summer solstice, thus giving us the seasons. Looking to the west, we can see a sunset move slightly to the right, curving around on its path. And close to the summer solstice, in northern Norway, we can see the sun never sets to the observer. Here is another way to view the summer solstice. The smaller dome here is a human's observable area, and the larger dome could be presented as a flat sky. This is still an unknown. Here is another way to look at the equinoxes. From Tenerife in June, the top is what the human eye observes, and below is what is really going on. The analemma is where one takes a photo or plot point of the sun at the same time of day from the same location over a year. This is from Hong Kong in the Northern Hemisphere, and there is a bigger loop for when the sun is in the Southern Hemisphere, because the sun covers more distance there in its orbit. This clearly shows that the orbit of the sun expands and contracts. It matters not if the analemma is taken from the equator or from the Southern Hemisphere either. The southern loop is always bigger, as one would expect. Here in Stellarium, I have set the time to 5 PM in Europe, faced southwest, and turned on the ecliptic, which is the sun's path. When we keep jumping 24 hours ahead, we can see the sun has completed one orbit each time, and in late May, we can see it's getting higher in the sky towards the summer solstice on the 21st of June, and then starts to go lower in the sky towards the winter solstice in December. Don't let anyone sell you the 23 hours and 56 minutes a day nonsense. The sun comes into the observer's vanishing point. This is known to most as a sunrise. The sun goes out of the observer's vanishing point. This is known to most as a sunset. If we go up in altitude, the sun comes back into one's field of view as the vanishing point has increased. When the sun sets in Japan, it's at its zenith in Madagascar, and also rising in Florida. Some ballpark trigonometry shows the sun is around 2,000 to 4,000 miles away. Well, that is, if it is an actual thing within the rules of known physics, which it possibly isn't. Now, these sunrises and sunsets often appear as different sizes. This is due to one or more of the following: the observer's position, land contour, sea temperature, atmospheric haze, and atmospheric temperature. So how high is our Sun? We have seen evidence of localized hotspots. The Sun doesn't have flares, but it does have sunspots. Nobody knows what these are or what creates them, but they do help us prove that the Sun above oscillates, which appears to the observer as rotation. The actual light of the Sun does many wondrous and irrational things. Here is the model for sunlight observation for various months. Actual sunlight at any one time is never the same for two different observers. Sunlight has evidence of curve, bend, bulge, mystery, beauty and wonder. We don't even know if it is really an object. We do know it is a focal point of light and heat. The Sun has been worshipped and measured for aeons. The Aztec sunstone calendar marks our present world as the fifth sun to them. The Aztecs saw themselves as the people of the Sun, whose divine duty was to sacrifice blood to provide the Sun with its nourishment. In India, the Konark Temple of the Sun in Orissa from at least 2000 BC has complex and intricate sundials. These 24 wheels use complex and detailed shading and measures a magnitude of different units of time and cycles, mostly from sunlight. All around the world there are symbols for the Sun, and temples aligned to the Sun, marking the solstice and equinox. There are many sun gods all around the world, from Egypt to India, and to the current Jesus archetype in Christianity. Now, much of Christianity is about the sky luminaries, known as astrotheology. Jesus is the Son of God, the sun that travels through the 12 zodiac signs. 12 disciples he travels around with, 12 brothers of Joseph, 12 tribes of Israel. The Last Supper painting by the alchemist Da Vinci shows all the zodiac signs having the Last Supper of the year before the crucifixion of the Sun in November, after the kiss of death by Scorpio, Judas. The birth of Jesus on the 25th of December is when the Sun rises from its lowest point of the year. The Sun is born. Now these stories you can find in other sun deities that are much older than Jesus. The solar eclipse has caused fear and been associated with myth, legend and superstition throughout history. Predicting eclipses has been going on for millennia too, as early as 600 BC by Thales. Saros astrology can predict eclipses, and this goes back to Chaldean and Babylonian astronomers. A solar eclipse is only possible exactly on a new moon, when the Sun and Moon are directly together, and also when the Moon is at the crossing point of the ecliptic, at the lunar node, when H1 and H2 in the image are at the same altitude. This is all akin to a super tight and accurate astrological aspect of conjunction. Now, many strange humans think there is 93 million miles between these two luminaries, and one is 400 times bigger. There are three types of solar eclipse: partial, annular, and total. Totality during a full solar eclipse can only be seen from a very small area on Earth. This area is usually about 100 miles or 160 kilometers wide, and about 10,000 miles or 16,000 kilometers long. Many think the Vedic dark luminary of Rahu covers the Sun. Rahu, the god of darkness, the black sun, the shadow planet. This cannot be true, as the total solar eclipse lasts for only a few minutes at any given place. The Vedic myths of Rahu and Ketu are simply archetypes of the lunar nodes. This is where the moon is. It cannot be anywhere else.